Welcome to this introduction and basic overview of the operations and features in Manudyn Cloud 9. This video is not a detailed set of instructions. Those are available to you in the system through the tutorial link. You will need to use them in the initial setup for training and in the early operations. There are also seminar documents available upon request, which discuss the detailed functionality of the system. This 20-minute video is designed to show the system at a high level and help you to link the details together when you get there. Manudyn Cloud 9 is a full-featured, cloud-based MRP system which models your operations and costs, allowing you to quote, manage inventory, order and receive stock, schedule manufacturing, record progress from the shop floor, ship, invoice, and most importantly, per job cost and variance analysis on your operations. Being cloud-based, no software installation is required. Your operations can be managed from web-based PCs or tablets anywhere in the world. Modeling your company for accurate scheduling and costs requires proper initial setup for many company attributes, such as the company calendar, which lists which days of the year are available for manufacturing, holidays, part days, or double shifts, the work area, for example, machining, cutting, assembly, or painting. This is where the hourly recovery rate is defined together with some default information about processing and processing time. Setting up includes a definition of the various units of measure used to describe materials, the list of stores or warehouses where materials are kept, the list of selling price categories to describe how materials are sold. Standard markups and critical sizes for different product types that are defined. This information becomes the default settings for quoting and estimation. The initial setup is also concerned with defining the users of the system. In addition to name and email information, there is also the capability to define the time zone setting and language for each individual user. There is also a permission tab where the level of access to the system for each user can be defined. In addition to users, we also need to define the employees. Users and employees are different. The users are people who operate the system. The employees are the people who work on jobs in the factory. We will discuss this later when we look at the factory menu for Manudyn Cloud 9. Once the initial setup is complete, you start operating the system by defining the base data, that is, your customers, vendors, and companies, which can be entered as needed. There is also an import facility to bring this data in from a spreadsheet en masse. You need to also define the raw materials used in your manufacturing operations. We call them material items, and what you define is the code, the description, the standard cost together with vendor and stock holding information. There is a special type of material item called a part. These are manufactured items, and they define the things that you make. In addition to the information needed to define a raw material, you also need to define how you make the part. Manufactured items consist of the bill of material, including raw material and sub-assemblies or other manufactured items, and the quantity used to make one unit of the part. The routing information concerning the work areas and your estimate of time at each operation. Among the many reports in Manudyn Cloud 9, two that are most helpful after creating a manufactured item are the indented bill of material, which shows what materials are used at each level of a manufactured item or part, and the item routing sheet, which provides a summary of the labor and material used to manufacture one unit of the part. Once the part has been defined, one of the first things we can do is get an estimate of labor and material costs and create a quote intended to be sent to a client or potential customer. Quoting a manufactured item uses the costs derived from the bill of material, quantity and standard cost, and routing, time and the recovery rate. These labor and material costs are then marked up, in accordance with your setup, to produce an estimated unit cost. There are multiple price breaks and options to add other charges before finalizing and storing a unit selling price. Once the quote is saved, a quote advice may be generated for and subsequently emailed directly to your client. All printouts in Manudyn may be printed, emailed directly, or may be saved as a PDF file. The next step is to create a sales order. This can be done with or without first doing a quote, and you can have multiple items associated with your sales order. An order advice may be generated and emailed directly to your client as an order acknowledgement. You could choose to print, email directly to the client, or save this as a PDF. And job tickets may be generated and sent to the factory as the manufacturing authority. Entering a sales order onto the system creates requirements for raw materials as defined in the bill of material and labor as defined in the routing of the part. These requirements form the basis of the two key functional areas of the system, namely purchasing and scheduling. Let's look at the purchasing first, as we need to get the raw material before we can do anything else. The inventory order processing screen shows what is available and what needs to be purchased. Clicking the order box on any row will launch a purchase order for that part. Once again, the system provides a facility to generate and email a purchase order advice to your vendor. You could choose to print, email directly, or save this as a PDF file. When the purchased materials arrive, they are received into the inventory. What you are doing here is indicating the quantity of goods received against the purchase order. Later, the vendor bill is received and reconciled with the received materials in the system and sent to accounts payable in Manudyn or in QuickBooks if QuickBooks is linked to Manudyn. Once the raw material is available, we can begin manufacture. The first step is to issue the job to production. Issuing a job to production allows you to verify availability of material and release the material from inventory. It then schedules it through the work areas based on the due date, other jobs in the system, and work area loading. Among the many reports in Manudyn Cloud 9, 4 that are most helpful when issuing a job to production are the Machine Loading Report. This report shows the loading in each week as a percentage of the available capacity and provide a drill down to show the individual jobs concerned. The Scheduling by Work Area, which provides details of each individual job in each work area. This is the schedule. Initially, it is set according to due date priority. However, you can manually alter that on a job-by-job basis. There is also a Gantt chart that can be generated to assist you in the process of moving jobs around. The Manufacturing Requirements Report. This report shows the material and labor requirements for all outstanding jobs on the sales order file. And the Priority Work List. This report shows all outstanding jobs that have been issued to the factory, listing them by work area and priority. The report can be distributed to the factory as a set of working instructions, and if the operator records on the work lists what they have done, it can also be used as the basics of a job status update. Recording job progress helps adjust the manufacturing schedule, alert to issues, advise when the order is complete, and updates the job costing. There are 2 ways to record job progress. The first is manually from the job progress screen, often by a manager reading from manual reports from the shop floor. The second and preferred method is in real time using the factory screen, a specialized set of screens running on a PC or a tablet on the shop floor. The factory screen lets employees clock on and off the factory, so it can be used as a time card, but more importantly, it provides a facility for the operator to clock on and off jobs in real time. This provides a tool for dynamic scheduling and also for management to view this information to see what is actually happening now. Once the employee is clocked on to the factory, they can select which work area they are going to work in, and then what job they are going to work on. There are options to work on multiple jobs and work in teams, as well as multiple work areas. Once the employee selects the job instructions are displayed, and they simply select the Start button to begin recording time against the job. Once an employee is active on a job, there is an asterisk against their name to indicate who is active on a job. This, together with various reports in the reporting library, allow management to see what the present level of activity is, once again, in real time. When an employee finishes the work area activity for the job, they simply return to the factory menu to clock off the job. They can indicate whether the time was spent on setup or production, and if the latter, what quantity was done. In Manudyn Cloud 9, an order is completed in the factory when the last operation has been marked as complete. At this point, we can finalize the order for shipping and production by selecting the sales order number in the order dispatch screen. An invoice number is generated along with the invoice details. A packing slip and invoice can now be printed. The packing slip usually does not contain pricing information and is designed to go with the goods. It can be printed, emailed, or saved as a PDF. The invoice can also be generated separately and can be printed, emailed, or saved as a PDF. The order dispatch also relieves finished goods inventory and the invoice information is sent to accounts receivable in Manudyn or in QuickBooks if QuickBooks is linked to Manudyn. At this time, management can review the manufacturing performance for the order through reports such as the Job Cost Report and Gross Margin Report. This report shows all labour and material recorded against the job. It can be printed, emailed, or saved as a PDF. The gross margin report shows the gross profit or loss on an individual job. There are options in the system to have the material quantity recorded against the job costed either by standard cost or average purchase price, and to turn the labour time recorded into cost according to either work centre or the employee recovery rates. These settings are defined in the system setup. Manudyn Cloud 9 provides a complete debtors and creditors facility, not just to record invoices, but also receipts, returns, credits, and payments, taking the accounting analysis through to aged balance reporting. There is no general ledger facility, however. For this level of functionality, we have provided a direct link to QuickBooks Online, which in addition to passing invoice information, also provides a perpetual inventory capability. Finally, let's look at reporting. The reports embedded within the system represent the minimum needed to drive an MRP system. In addition to the embedded reports, we provide a reporting library. These are reports that we have developed as a result of client requests, and over time we have added them to the reporting library and continue to do so. There are reports for estimating, scheduling, factory activity, purchasing and stock and inventory control, and other functional areas. Reports we add to the reporting library are available to all clients. This video has described the basic workflow and reports of Manudyn Cloud 9 and is just a subset of all the features and reports available. Context-specific videos and help are available for the functions you are using by clicking on the Help link at the top right of the screen. Your first task is to complete the basic setup to model your company as briefly described early in this video. You are guided through this with the videos in the tutorial link at the top right of the screen. Please follow them in order when carrying out the actual setup and early operation. This stage is key to proper operation of the system and can be quite detailed. Be prepared to put several hours into this effort. You may want to have more than one member of the team working in this together. If you have any questions, you can issue a help ticket using the help link at the top right of the screen. We provide support through our support ticket system, which is accessed through the help dialog. Creating a support ticket will send an email to our support team, who will follow up on the issue and work with you until the issue is resolved. I thank you for your time in allowing me to explain the features and operation of our Manudyn Cloud 9 system. If you require further information, please contact our support representatives. A 30-day free trial is also available from our website should you wish to examine the system further. Thank you.